Kiran madam?
Yes, sir. Shall we start?
Yes, we will start.
Okay. Aishwarya?
I think student. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all joined today. Institutions Innovation Council of Sihagarh Technical Education Societies, Sihagarh College of Pharmacy has organized today's e-session on the topic Intellectual Property Rights Awareness Program under the National Intellectual Awareness Mission. Without much delay, I would now like to invite Mrs. Sadhna Raut ma'am to give the preamble for today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, am I audible, Aishwarya?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Good morning, one and all present here. Hi, Dr. Sadhna Raut, convener, Srinagar College of Pharmacy Institutions Innovation Council, welcomes you all in e-session on IPR awareness program. First of all, I heartiest welcomes our 2 days guest, Ms. Ujjwal Singh ma'am, examiner of patents and designs, Mumbai. Our admirable principal, Dr. R.B. Patil sir, all faculty members, my dear colleagues, and my enthusiastic students to this IIC session. Today's session is particularly awareness on the intellectual property rights. So, first of all, IPR is nothing but what? Actually, intellectual property rights are a set of exclusive rights, and these are protected by the laws, and which are accorded to creators or persons over their creations for a certain time of period. And the IP right holder can realize value from its intellectual assets through utilizing it internally, particularly for its own processes, or share it externally through the provision of goods or the services to the customers. The latter can be achieved through the legal mechanisms. That is nothing but we can do the license or the do by doing the assignment on that. Intellectual property is nothing but we can say it is a kind of fuel, and that powers the engine of prosperity and fostering the invention and the innovation. The increasing significance of intangible assets in the global economy is forcing business organizations to actively manage their IP, and that IP as a key driver for building and sustaining their competitive advantage and achieving superior performance. So today's awareness program have objective, and that objective are nothing but to encourage widespread awareness and understanding the role, particularly that intellectual property plays an important role in the fostering a creative and innovative culture. Also to encourage protection of IP achievements through increased registration of rights. Also to educate the participants on how to respond to infringement of rights, including patent rights, and to raise the level of IP awareness in colleges, particularly among the students and faculties also. Moreover, we can establish a link in between the industry and the academia on the IPR2. So with this brief objective, I assured students will get a benefit from today's e-session on awareness of IPR. So thank you, Vaishwarya. And once again, I welcome ma'am, and thanks for accepting our invitation from your busy schedule. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Sadhana ma'am. With this note, I would now like to request the principal of Sihagarh College of Pharmacy, Dr. R.B. Patil sir, to please share his valuable inputs with us.
Thank you, Aishwarya. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. At the outset, a warm welcome to Mrs. Ujjwal Singh, madam, who is a patent examiner at Mumbai office, and today she is going to have this session on IPR awareness program. As Aishwarya told, it is under the mission, National Intellectual Awareness Mission. A great thing, and thanks sparing your valuable time for this program. As my insight on this initiative, as everyone knows that major crunch of IPRs, Indian patents and copyrights, they belong to the healthcare sector, and there are great opportunities ahead for the pharma students and many allied healthcare people for pursuing or getting these exclusive rights on their intellectual properties. No doubt, ours is also a research-oriented program, and students, through the active efforts of our Institute Innovation Council, students are getting awareness about the intellectual property and various opportunities which are available for them in innovation. And all my faculty is uh, doing that very effectively. I hope as outcome of this awareness program or as outcome of our IIC, maybe in coming future, we could able to see some of the IPRs. Uh, as you know, our government is also supporting for many IPR initiatives and in fact patenting. So as you know that government has recently started giving a substantial fee reduction in patent application. Also, if the patentee is a woman, almost there is no fees at all. The complicated processing has been eased down, and many initiatives government has started through AICT. Everyone knows that government has started, AICT has started that Kapila scheme through which students can uh, take ahead their research or their innovative ideas to the IPR level. What we need is to understand exactly how our research should be inclined toward this getting IPRs, and all the technical aspects of getting patent that should be learned by the student. Students should understand what is patentable, what are the commercial aspects of such type of patent. Uh, I think such awareness programs and some deliberations would certainly help our students in pursuing and going ahead with the IPRs. So, with these some of my thoughts, I once again welcome Ujjwal Madam and also thank her for sparing her valuable time. Thank you, one and all. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. Now, I would like to invite Mrs. Kiran ma'am to please introduce our guest speaker for today. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Aishwarya. Very good morning to all. Now, moving ahead, let me introduce our today's guest speaker, Ms. Ujjwala Singh, Madam. She is working as an examiner of patents and designs, Mumbai Patent Office, Department of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry, Government of India. Madam has completed BSc in chemistry from St. Stephen's College, Delhi University in the year 2015. She has completed her post-graduation in MSc Chemistry from IIT Delhi in the year 2017. She has qualified CSIR NEET and taken CSIR NEET GRF in Chemical Science for leadership in the year July 2017 to January 2008.
Kiran madam, shall I interrupt you? Kiran
Madam
madam.
has also qualified GATE in the 2017 with the All India rank 97. Madam is having research experience. Aishwarya, am I audible?
Your madam, your voice is breaking. Probably there is no proper network there where from where you are attending.
Okay, sir. So shall I introduce once again? Or
Yeah. Just introduce it once again. Introduce madam once again.
I think, sir, there is network problem over there.
Yeah, I think there is a network problem.
So,
Okay. Now it's my place and I will try.
Yeah.
Sorry for the technical glimpses. Is that fine now? My voice is
Yeah. Now
audible?
you are audible. You can switch off your video. So
Okay. So yes. So madam is working as
uh, sorry for interruption, ma'am. Again, your voice is cracking. So, I think I should continue with the presentation.
examiner of patents and design Mumbai Patent Office Internal Trade and okay, madam. Please. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay, ma'am. Should I continue? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. First of all, a very good morning to all of you. And it's my pleasure and honor to welcome principal, sir, dear coordinators, faculty members, and all my fellow friends to the IPR awareness program. As it is already introduced regarding the basics of intellectual property, sir has very well explained why do we need some innovations, and before that, ma'am also explained the significance of intellectual properties and innovations. So, the main aim of this webinar today is to enlighten the students how they can convert their ideas into innovations and then further transform them into assets by protecting them. So, we have some rights which are called intellectual property rights, which help you to protect your creativity. So, a brief introduction about the link of this intellectual properties and the importance to our day-to-day life and again to the economy of our country. So, whenever you watch some news, then there was always news regarding the unemployment, right? So, but the thing is, whenever a country starts innovations, you see that those countries which are more innovative, which do file more number of patents, they are at the highest level of global index. So, what does it mean? It basically means that whenever a country has more number of innovations, new ideas, more creative ideas, then they are giving or they are providing job opportunities. So you should be a job seeker. No, you should not be a job seeker, but a job giver. So in this way, you can create employments. So whenever And this occurs whenever you have some creative idea in your mind. Maybe you can begin a new startup. It can be based on products. It can be a e-farming company. It can be anything. But it should have some new ideas which nobody is using or which have some technical advantages over the present situation. A very good example is everybody is using mobile phones right now. Okay, so there are basically three, four basic features in these Android or smartphones, which are the video conferencing, then application system, then audio visual, then camera systems. These are all are the basic system features in the present devices, mobile phone. But if somebody comes with some new feature, then isn't it something creative? Suppose it can be a privacy feature, it can be anything, waterproofing or water protecting. It can be any new feature which can be more advanced than the present trending situation. So if you are coming up with such kind of ideas, then there are chances that you can create jobs, you can create employments, and again you can become exporter of those devices, those new features. When you do that, you are boosting the economy of our country. You may export those products. So this is what intellectual property helps for the development of a country. Now, today's program, as it is well explained, that Government of India has started a new initiative under the banner of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, in which awareness should be imparted to 1 lakh students about the needs and importance of intellectual property. So basically, in today's presentation, we will be learning the idea of filing the intellectual property rights, how you can protect your ideas, and what are the different domains under which you can go and protect your work. So first thing is, whenever you have your idea, whenever you are thinking on a concept, then first thing you should do is you should protect that idea. So let's begin with the presentation, and I want all of the students to listen carefully, because at the end we have a quiz, and the quiz is really interesting, so please be attentive. And it just to let you know, intellectual property is something you will come across in your day-to-day life. All we should do is we have to aware of the situation. We have to know what kind of intellectual property is going to be registered under which right, so that that property can be protected. Now, this is one of the initiative. I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know whether it is visible or not. Is it visible? Hello, ma'am. Is the presentation visible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
ma'am, visible.
okay. So basically,
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
okay, fine. So this basically the mission of this program is NIPAM, which is National Intellectual Property Awareness Program, and there is one more scheme started by Government of India to help students basically for filing the patents. And students should be funded. The fee should be funded by some government institutes. It is called as Kapila scheme, which is started by Government of India. So basically, our government is also promoting the awareness regarding intellectual property rights. Now, starting from the property, since intellectual property is consisting of two terms, one is intellectual and another is property. So why should not we begin with the property first? Earlier, people used to do the trading of their lands, then farms, fields and buildings, flats. So these all are properties, right? What are property? Property is something on which a person can have ownership. So in the same way, intellectual property is there. Basically, when we talk about properties, then it is classified into two parts. One is the tangible property and another is the intangible property. Now, what are tangible properties? Tangible properties are those which are movable and which can be immovable, but you can touch them or you can measure them. Like you have buildings, it can be measured. Then you have car, vehicles. So the things you can see with your eyes or you can touch them or you can measure them are tangible properties. Now there are some another property which are intangible properties. You cannot measure them. For example, the teacher provides you services. The teacher teaches you. So you cannot measure the level of her teaching or his teaching. In the same way, doctor treats a patient. So the efforts he is making for the treatment, it cannot be measured. So these kind of services are intangible. You cannot measure them. In the same manner, intellectual property is intangible property. Why? Because intellectual property is coming out of human idea. It is the result of human creations. What is there inside your head? What you are thinking? Can you measure them? Can you give some amount to it? No, we cannot give. Ideas cannot be measured. But you can convert these intellectual property into tangible assets. And we will know in our later slides how we can convert these intangible property into a tangible asset. So, intellectual property consists of two words, intellectual plus property. And as the name suggests, intellectual means the anything that is coming out of the human brain or that involves human creations. So whenever you have property which is the result of human creation, it is considered as intellectual property. For example, we all use this mobile phone. This is a device. I have already told you we can convert intellectual property into a tangible asset. Now I have some person at some point of time, the person has an idea that I should develop a device and the device should have these features. It is capable of talking to the person sitting at a very far distance. It should have camera features. It should have video conferencing features. So somebody has some idea at some point of time. But when the idea, as such idea is intangible, but when the idea is embedded into the device, it can be a property. It can become a property. And when you protect this property, it becomes an asset which you can buy or sell. So, in short, intellectual property is an asset. It can be bought, it can be sold, it can be licensed, exchanged like any other form of property. So, whenever you have an idea, what should you do? Just express your idea, either in the form of a device or in the form of literary work or in the form of artistic work or in the form of logos or in the form of designs. You have to protect your ideas for commercializing it. Now, intellectual property is divided into two subparts. One is industrial property and another is copyright. So industrial property means that property is capable of manufacturing n number of times in industry. So it means you have to give the input to the machine and that property will be produced thousands and millions of times. And those properties are called industrial property. In industrial property, there are patents for inventions, then trademarks, industrial designs and geographical indications. And then comes the copyright, which covers the literary work, And that literary work can also, it can further include musical work, artistic work, and architectural work. So we have two subparts of intellectual properties. One is industrial and another is copyright. So in today's webinar, we will be looking at these property one by one, which are patents for inventions, designs, trademarks, geographical indications, and copyrights. So I request all of the students to listen to them carefully, so that in features, when in some features you can relate to your day-to-day life. Just to introduce you to all these 5 properties in a single vehicle. Whenever you walk on a street, you may see a car or a bike. So on that car or on that bike, there are multiple intellectual properties. First thing is, what should you do whenever you go and buy a car? You will look at the technical aspects of it. Either what mileage is it giving, or what are some new features, advanced features as compared to the previous version of the car which you have. So these technical features, these technological advancements are protected by patents. Now if you don't have any choice of technical advancement, कि चलो इस गाड़ी में कोई भी advanced feature नहीं है, then what will you do? And you have to buy a car. Then you will look at its design, its looks, how the car is going to look. What are the looks? How is it different from the rest of the cars in the market? So those looks, those outermost appearance, those features which relates to which can lure the customers, which can attract more number of customers because of its looks, those features are protected by designs. Then comes the brand of that car. Even though the branded things are expensive, yet you can buy them. Why? Because you can trust the customer, you can trust the company from which it is coming. So those logos, those word names, those are protected by trademarks. Then another thing, whenever you buy a gadget, it can be a washing machine, it can be a television, it can be a mixer. There is some booklet, user manual that comes across along with it. So that user manual discloses some specific features of working of that device. So it is the subject matter of copyright. So a brief introduction with an example I have given. Now we will further elaborately look at them one by one. So intellectual property rights is the collective term which protects the legal rights given to the owner or the creator of the intellectual property. Now, whenever you are creating something, it can be a new novel, it can be a new gadget, it can be a new device, or it can be a sculpture, it can be artistic work, or it can be a logo or design. Whenever you are creating something new and unique, then rights can protect your property. These rights are called intellectual property rights. So what is the objective of intellectual property rights? Why do you need to protect your intellectual property? Let's begin with some example. Now, if you are writing a story, suppose you have just ended the story, and if a third person can come and stole that story and sell that book by his name, what should you do? If you don't have any proof that that story belongs to you, the person can easily sell those copies and get some financial benefits out of it. Now, whenever you protect that property by intellectual property rights, you can actually control the person from selling that work by his name. This is the utility of intellectual property rights. Hence, it is promoting a fair trading. So basically, intellectual property rights contribute to the economic and social development of country. Now consider a situation. Suppose a person has developed a mask or a vaccine which is say 99% effective in controlling the virus. Now if that person is from our country, from India, there are chances then that you can become the exporter of that vaccine. So in this way, it is adding to the economy of our country. Now, second thing is how it is promoting the social development. First thing is whenever there is a fair trading, then everybody gets benefited. Even the customer as well as the seller, both persons are getting benefited. Second thing is the invention of corona vaccine or any vaccine which is effective. Isn't it helpful for the health of our society? So in this way, it is good for social development of the country also. Now, these are three basic points that link to the significance of intellectual property. First thing is, whenever a scientist or a researcher is working on a project, then he spent a lot of time, labor, and energy to make that project successful. So, doesn't he want to get full benefit out of it? So, in order to get full financial benefit and in further future commercialization, intellectual property rights are there. They help that creator or the researcher to promote the research and to get awarded for their new concept or new ideas. Now, what is the importance? So, whenever you protect your property, जब भी आप अपनी intellectual properties को protect कराते हो, then you can exclude others. Like I have developed a mask, I have filed an application for mask, I have protected my mask. Now, when I did that, I am excluding others for manufacturing or selling that mask because my mask is unique and it is already protected. Second thing is it will protect, it will exclude others, then it will help in commercializing. Now, when other companies which are belonging to the same field, which are suppose mask company, they can also copy my idea. They can also sell those masks by their name. But if I have protected that idea under intellectual property rights, then actually I can protect them from commercializing my property. So this is the utility of intellectual property rights. Now, a very common case, whenever somebody stole your mobile phone and you go to police station for filing its FIR, what will they ask? What will the police official ask? Basically, they ask EMI number of that device. It means they are asking you the proof that that device belongs to you. So in the same way, if somebody copies your work and sell it by his name, then IPR rights gives you that proof and help them and help the creator or the first person to prevent the selling of that work by other person's name. Then they have proof, and that proof is a legal document, and you can also sue them in the court whenever you find something like that happening. So let's begin with the first intellectual property, which is copyright. Now, you must be aware of these copyright issues, which are always there on the social media. Basically, copyright is a legal term that describes the right given to the creator for the literary, artistic, musical, dramatic, and cinematographic work. So these things are linked to the film industries and musical industries, and there are a lot of news like that song has copyright issue because the first original creator has not given the permission to do that song or to make the remix of that song. So these kinds of things are linked to the copyright. And also you can find the C type of symbol on the third or fourth page of your books, it means that that particular book or that particular literary work is already protected by copyright. Now, what benefit will you get when you have protected the work under copyright? First thing is, it will prevent the other person from selling your work. Second thing is, in future also, if you want to modify that story, like I have written a novel and I want to make second part of that novel, and if I have protected the novel, then only I can do that modification. But if I haven't done that registration or that protection, then any person can come and modify that novel. So is the importance of intellectual property right. Now, what are the subject matter of copyright? Basically, there are 6 domains of copyright, where the things that you can protect under copyrights are literary work like dictionaries, the word meanings, then you can also protect the question papers, then academic books, then stories, novels, all things can be protected under copyright. Second comes the film, and it is, you must be familiar of this. Films can also be protected by copyright. Then comes the dramatic work, then musical work, artistic work, and sound recording. And we will discuss them one by one later. So I have already told you that you can protect literary work under copyright, and the literary work can be in the form of book, newspaper, question papers, catalogs, dictionaries, and lectures. Another thing over here is, we all uses these applications like WhatsApp, Facebooks. Can you protect these applications? The answer is right. You can, yes, you can protect this application, but actually the software program that is written to run that application, it only that can be protected, and it can be protected under copyright. So we all know that all the application are based on some coding, decoding, programmings. So those programming, since they are a kind of literary work, so those can be protected by copyright. Second comes the artistic work. So if you are excel in drawings, painting, charts, advertisement, posters, sculptures, these all can be protected under artistic work. Then comes the musical work. Now, musical work basically consists of 2 parts. One is the graphical notation and another is the lyrics. So only those 2 things can be written on the paper, right? So it can only then it can be protected under copyright. Okay. Only whenever you are expressing your ideas on a sheet of paper or in some written work, only those aspects can be protected under literary work of the copyright. Then comes another rights. Now there are some more rights which people use interchangeably with copyright. These are the broadcasters' rights. Broadcasters' rights are given to the broadcasting organizations. Like Kapil Sharma show, you can see on Sony TV only. Why? Because the Sony TV has the broadcasting rights on that show. In the same manner, there are different broadcasting organizations which have rights for the broadcasting of a specific program. So whenever you have that broadcasting right, then Sony TV can actually protect other TV broadcasting organizations like Colors, Z, and other organization to air that show. Then another right is performers right, and performers rights are given to the performers, which can be a musician, a singer, a dancer, acrobat. They can actually protect their performance under the performance rights. So here comes the case study for which will further enlighten you regarding the significance of intellectual property rights. It is related to the copyright issue. Basically, you might know about the fan movie. It was starring Shah Rukh Khan. Actually, it was found that the storyline of that movie is based on Abhineta movie. So that movie was written in 1997. it was found that it is somewhat similar to the Abhineta movie. Then the creator of Abhineta movie filed a case against this Span movie, but they didn't win that case. Why? Because it was found that there is no legal document that will prove that that storyline belongs to Abhineta movie. Why? Because they haven't protected the work. They haven't protected that story. So whenever you are working on anything, a novel, a painting, a sculpture, what should you do first is to protect that work. So that's why even there can be chances that storyline is copied from Abhineta movie, but still they didn't win the case. Why? Because they haven't that legal document and they haven't protected the work. So this is the importance and significance of intellectual property rights. Now comes the industrial designs. So copyright is the second subdomain of intellectual property. Now we will be discussing the properties which are industrial properties. And the first industrial property is industrial designs. So industrial property, industrial designs covers the ornamental or aesthetic aspects of an article, which may consist of 3D features such as shapes or surfaces, or it can also prevent the 2D features like lines and color. So let's consider with an example. I have the mobile phone. So what things are protected under industrial designs? The length, the breadth, the height of this device, how the device is going to look. Now, in case of this glass, what can be protected? The shape of the glass, the color of the glass, the height of the glass. All these things are protected under industrial designs. And why it is important? Isn't the design intellectual property? Designs are also intellectual property, and you will find that there are many designers which are earning a lot of money just because of their creative designs, right? So whenever there is some unique design in the market, more and more person will buy it. Now let's look at the examples of this. Earlier we have normal chairs, but then somebody develops the bump chairs, and you can find these bump chairs almost all of the primary or nursery schools. So this is the significance of designs. So whenever you are developing, whenever you have some idea related to the shape, feature or size or pattern of anything which is there in the market, you have to make a drawing of that work, and you can go and file for the protection of that work. Then these milk cans, and even though these are a bit expensive or they are higher in price, but the customers will buy it. Why? Because they have some attractive features which is attracting more number of customers. Then we have this Coca-Cola bottle and the glass. Now what are the criteria for getting your work registered under industrial design? First thing is only the features of shapes, configuration and ornamentations are protected. Like you cannot come to us and ask, I have created that material and I need the protection under industrial design. No, we cannot allow you. Why? Because industrial designs only give you permission for the protection of shapes. So the technologies are not prevented, or the materials are not protected by designs, only the shapes and features. Like yesterday I was searching for a t-shirt, formal t-shirt, and I found that both t-shirt actually of the same brand. Everything was same, but everything was same, even the design, everything was same. But what I found that one with dark blue color is more expensive as compared to the other t-shirt. So what does it mean? That color is adding some value to that product. So whenever you found that something is attractive, which can attract more number of customers in a device, then those things are protected under industrial design. Now, like we have different shapes of bottles over here in the screen. It is there in the screen. Those different shapes, why they have been protected by some at some point of time. So how do you know that this feature is protected, this shape or pattern is protected? There is a RD number on almost every article along with RD symbol. There is a registration number along with the symbol, but it is not found in textile goods and brittle articles. Now, what is the significance of showing that your design is protected? Again, it will have the potential infringer to take some legal action against you. So whenever you find that some another person is copying your design and promoting that design by his name, then actually you can sue them or you can prevent them by legal action. Now comes another intellectual property, which is trademarks. And trademarks basically covers the brand names, logos. So whenever I ask you, if you want to eat a burger, which brand comes into your mind? Which name comes into your mind? Of course, a McD burger. And if I ask you about the shoes, then either you will say Adidas or you will say Nike or Reebok. So these brands, for these brands, there are some logos or word names, and these word names and brand names are protected by trademarks. So whenever you want to start your own company, then you need to give a tag or some name to that company, right? That name or that work. Why? Because in future, if you want to promote the products of your company, there should be some symbol which will help your company to make a separate place in the market, right? Because of its quality. So those words, those logos are protected by trademark. And we can say that trademarks and service marks are distinctive symbols that help the consumer to distinguish between competing goods or services and are major part of the goodwill a company enjoys in the trade. So these trademarks or these logos, these will help your product to stand out of rest of the products in the market. Now, trademark is a sign that is capable of distinguishing services of one enterprises from rest of the other. These are some examples of logos and symbols which are protected under trademark. So basically, trademark protects the logos, symbols, word marks of a brand or a company. Now there are some criteria on which you can get trademark. You cannot just randomly pick any kind of logo or word or symbol and you can protect your that work under trademark. You have to fulfill some criteria. First thing is it should be graphically represented. Like we have these symbols, right symbol, Adidas symbol, Jaguar symbol. These all can be graphically represented. Then second thing is it should be distinctive and distinguishable. Third thing is it must not be descriptive, because descriptive matters goes to which kind of intellectual property. Descriptive matters goes to copyrights. Whenever you are writing something now, it will protect it under copyright. Then it must not be deceptively similar to the well-known marks. Now, making you understand by the example, it must not be deceptively similar and it should be distinguishable. What does it mean? It means suppose you want to start your own shoe company and you are giving the name Abibas to it. Then are you allowed to do that? The answer is no. You are not allowed. Your work cannot be protected by Abibas name. Why? Because that name is already there in the market. How come your product will commercialize when you are promoting your product with a similar name that is there in the market? So your symbol, your name should be new and unique and original. Only then you are allowed to protect that logo or word. Now comes the another intellectual property, which is geographical indication. So basically, geographical indications, as the name suggests, it is geography plus indications. It means it has some links with the location or geography of the country. So whenever the products get popular because of its geography, then it is protected under geographical indication. And a geographical indication is a sign that is used on goods that have a specific geographical origin and possess quality or reputation that is solely due to the place of origin. Like oranges. Which oranges are popular? Basically, when we talk about oranges, then the first name that comes to our mind is Nagpur oranges. Why are they so much popular? The answer is because the geographical location of Nagpur is such that it has influenced the taste and texture of the oranges. The soil quality, the water quality, as well as the temperature and pressure parameters over there, they are influencing the texture of that oranges. So whenever a geographical influence is there on a product, it is protected by geographical indications. And you can also find that whenever a product is registered under GI, geographical indications, then automatically its price will boost up 1.5 times approx. So like basmati rice, we have normal common rice is less pricey, but basmati rice has more price. Then we have tea from Darjeeling. So basically, tea from Darjeeling is the first GI. It is given in 2004. This is the first GI. Now, why do we need to protect these under GI? A very basic thing is that whenever a product gets GI, then it is creating jobs. It is actually encouraging the farmers or the small local groups in rural areas to further cultivate that product. And since they are the cultivators, they can actually get some financial benefits when they become the seller of that product. So when these products are registered under GI, then actually only that group of people who have registered that goods, they can sell that thing and prevent others. Like anybody can sell the tea by Darjeeling name, na? But who are allowed legally? Only those who have registered the Darjeeling tea under geographical indications. Second thing is, it is promoting our culture. It is promoting how it is promoting our culture and tradition. Like you have seen the Varli art on the clothes. So that Varli art, it is practiced by a specific group of women in an area. There are some Rangoli designs. All these are protected under geographical indications, and it also helps to promote tourism. So whenever somebody comes to your place, what will he buy? He will buy most of the tourists, and you will also suggest them that okay, if you come to Nagpur, then buy these things. These are famous in Nagpur. If you go to Rajasthan, then okay, buy Kathputli from Rajasthan. So these are promoting the tourism also. So this is how geographical indications are helping for the economic growth of our country. These are some more examples of geographical indication. These are the margpans, then mango, then Coorg orange. Coorg orange is also GI orange, GI tag orange. There is actually difference between the orange in Nagpur and these Coorg oranges. They both have different taste. Like recently, what we are eating, which mango is famous? It is Hapusam. It is from Ratnagiri. So you can also relate to its cost. It is around 6 to 700 per dozen. So because it has got GI tag, it is becomes so much popular that it can be exported to other countries also. Now moving on to the next intellectual property, which is patents. So it is one of the oldest form of intellectual property, and it is started in 1700s. The main aim of the patent is to encourage the economic and technical development of the society by rewarding the intellectual property. Now, what things can be protected under patents? Basically, patents protects the inventions. Patents protects the inventions, and the inventions can be a product as well as it can be a process. And patents are granted to the inventors by the government. So whenever you are developing some product or a process, the product can be a mask, a shoe, a gadget, an electronic gadget, a mechanical device, a computer device, any kind of gadget. It can be in any field. If you are developing a drug, a vaccine, all these things are what? Products. So technical things as well as medicinal things, these all are the subject matter of inventions. And inventions are protected under patents. Now, who will give you these rights? Patents right, who will give? It is given by the the government of India to the first person, to the inventor or the creator for 20 years. And as a result, it will help you to prevent others from making, exporting, and selling your product. But in exchange, you have to fully disclose your inventions. So there are some requirements for getting patents. First thing is your invention should be new. It means it should be novel, or it must be inventive, or it must have industrial application. Like you cannot come with the same device and said that okay, I have invented this device and I need a patent on it. We will not allow it until or unless it will fulfill these three criteria. First thing, either it is novel or inventive or industrial applicable. Now, what does invention mean? Invention is different from discovery. Discovery is something that is already in nature. Like if some person sitting here is belonging to the bio side, then actually he can relate this example. If somebody discover a gene sequence, then it is not considered as an invention because that gene sequence is already there in the microorganism. But if you are creating your own gene sequence, then it has involved a human intervention. It has utilized a human mind. A human mind is spent on this. A hard work is done on that. So if you are creating your own sequence, then it is considered as patentable subject matter. But if you are discovering something which is already there in nature, you cannot get patent on it. You can get patents only for the invention. Another example is if somebody